All right, here we have a Sichot from Parshat Acharei. Even though that in Israel we are learning this week, and we're reading the Parshat Kedoshim that has a lot of commandments which seem to be all different one from the other, not to worship, go to necromancers and magicians, and to love every Jew as yourself. And we learned before to keep the orla, first 3 years of a fruit. Different commandments. I think there are, 48 commandments or something. But here, that's here. But in Israel, but for our brothers and sisters that are outside of Israel, we're learning. They're reading in the Torah Parshas Acharei together, and so sometimes they come together anyway. Acharei Mod Kadoshim. So it's sort of like they come together. This year we learn Kadoshim in Israel, and Acharei Mod is in America, because in America, when we were reading Kadoshim, they were celebrating the last day of Passover. So it sort of pushed everything away. Vayaz kasher tzivo Moshe. After that, the Torah tells us in our Parsha all the details Asher tziva Kodesh Baruch Hu, that God commanded to Moshe to give to Aaron regarding the work in the Holy Temple on Yom Kippur. It says, Vayaz kasher tzivo Hashem es Moshe. It says that he did what God commanded him. It says in the Torah that Moses did what God said. In other words, he gave over all these details. He gave them over. Rashi quotes these words because it's a little bit not understood. Rashi is Rabbi Shlomo Yitzchaki. He lived about 900 years ago. And he was a tremendously holy person and a genius. And he explained in the most simple way all of the not understandable sentences in the Torah. In the Chumash, and he has also on all the aspects of the Torah, and also in the Gemara and the Talmud. So here we have a question. God gives Moses the commandments, and the Torah tells us that Moses did what God told him. Now, what does he have to tell you that? Of course Moses did what God told him. I think he wasn't going to do it. But Moshe had a past history of problems in this area of not following orders, right? Moshe was the ultimate order follower. He had no will of his own. Every word in the Torah is exactly what God told him to say. So why does the Torah have to tell us that after the commandment of the work in the Holy Temple on Yom Kippur, there all of a sudden the Torah has to tell us that, and Moshe did everything God told him. God said, give this over to the Jewish people, and Moshe did. Why did it have to tell us that? Rashi quotes these words, Vayaz kasher tzivu Hashem, and he says, Kishegiya Yom Kippur, when Yom Kippur came, Moshe actually did this. And lahagid, to tell Yeshiva Shel Aaron, the praises of Aaron, Shelo Aya Levushe Lovshan L'Gedulaso, Ela Makayim Gezeras Hamelech. Oh, it says that Moshe, not that Moshe told Aaron what to do, and Aaron, Moshe's brother, he became the high priest. He did what Moshe told him to do. He did everything that was told to do. Rashi says, what does it mean he told him to do? That he put the garments on for the right reason. He didn't put the garments on for his own aggrandizement, but he did it and only because God told him. Okay, that's also a pretty big question. What Aaron would want to put it on to look good, right, to the people. Don't I look like a Kohen Gadol? Stand in front of everybody. What do you think about me now? Everyone, of course not. The Meforshim explain What is Rashi trying to tell us here? That he put the garments, the priestly garments, he put them on for the right reason. Not for his own greatness, but for what God wanted. What is Rashi telling us? He said, Rashi says, Rashi tells us that when Yom Kippur came, Aaron did exactly what he was told. Like it says, Vayas kasher tzivah lo idrachesh miyad. In other words, what? It didn't happen immediately. God came down with the Torah. Moshe came down with the Torah, and he told Aaron what to do, and he did it. Not immediately. La'achar she'Aaron nitztavu kach, after his two sons died in the Holy Temple. Like, in other words, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, when the Holy Temple opened up first, at least a little bit afterwards. What happened? Moshe Rabbeinu came down with the tablets, the second tablets. He came down. He broke the first tablets. That was on Yud Zayin Tammuz. He went up again. He came back down. He got forgiveness for the Jewish people. Went back up again. Came back down 80 days later, 120 days after they were broken. That was Yom Kippur. But the Holy Temple had not been built yet. They didn't know how to build it yet. So they spent all the time from Yom Kippur until Nisan, half a year, almost, and they built the temple. That's when Aaron went in with the garments on. With the verb of Lahagid Shivcho, that was the praises, namely, Ma mechadesh lanu apasuk vayas. That's what it tells you, that Aaron, even though he did not do it immediately, he couldn't. There was no holy temple. He had to wait a half a year, but nevertheless, he did exactly what he was told. According to this, is not understood. But generally, when Rashi explains some sentence and he explains two different topics, usually he divides it into two different paragraphs. Usually Rashi explains one thing. If there's two questions on the same sentence, so he explains the first, and then he brings the second part that he's questioning about, and he explains that. And here, there's two things that he explains. Number one, that this did not happen immediately. It happened only on Yom Kippur. And number two, that when Yom Kippur came, Aaron didn't change. If so, Madua Machaber Rashi, why does Rashi join these two things here? The time when it happened, and that Aaron, in fact, did what he was supposed to do. Why does Rashi join this together? Even more, Ha'inyan Rishon, the first thing when it happened, this is attached to the word Vayas, he did. And the later part, that Aaron did exactly what he was supposed to do, is attached to the end of the pasuk, Kasher Tzivo Hashem. It should have said Vayas. Rashi should have brought down Vayas, he did. Then put an Yom Kippur later on. Everything that God told him. Another sentence. That he put the garments on for the right reason. Should have been two things. Why does Rashi join it all together? Lifnei Kain, before that, Madgisha Torah, the Torah tells us clearly regarding everything that was said, Sheyesh levatzeya zot b'chodesh hashvi, it has to be done on the 7th month, be'asor lechodesh, on the 10th day of the month. So it's understood that Aaron did this on Yom Kippur. It says very clearly that this has to be done on Yom Kippur. What's Rashi telling us? When Yom Kippur came along, he put on the garments. What he thought he was going to put on the garments before? That's the earliest he could put on. Why does Rashi even have to tell us when Yom Kippur rolled around that Aaron did it? It was impossible for him to do it beforehand. We'll go over these questions again. Lefia Omor Aleo, like we said before in the beginning, Rashi explains only the time it happened. Why does he add Asa Kaseder Hazeh? Why does he have that he did this order. Rashi should have said, when Yom Kippur came, Aaron put on the garments because God wanted him to, not for his own glory. Why does he have to say when it came the right time? Yom Kippur, Aaron did in the order that Moshe told him. We have to say that also these words, also somehow or other, are included in Vayas. Ki gam uvda she'asa kased razeh. This must be also some sort of a novelty, that Aaron did exactly the order that it was told. Now, if you look and see what is the order of Yom Kippur, the order of Yom Kippur is very complicated, right? There's 5 times that the Kohen Gadol goes into the Holy of Holies. Each time he has to change his garments. He has to make several sacrifices. He has to go out and throw one sheep, one goat over a mountain. He has to sprinkle. He has to bring incense. He has to do all these, to sprinkle the blood. He has to do all these things. So one time it's telling us that he did exactly what he was told in the proper order and for the right reason. We have to say that these words also somehow or other explain what he did, that he did it in this proper order. But we have to explain. Maduan nechshav Aaron pal b'seder acher. Why would you think that Aaron would do in a different order than what he was commanded? Why would he change the order? B'shonek asher tzivu Hashem as Moshe. Why would Aaron do differently than what God told Moses to tell him? Hashem mishum kach tzorech laTorah. Why does the Torah have to tell us this? So in other words, the question still remains. Rashi comes and he explains something and we don't understand. What is he explaining? That Aaron, when Yom Kippur rolled around, he did exactly the order that Moshe told him, and he put on the garments for the right reasons. Why would you think he would put on for the wrong reasons? Why would you think he would change the order? Why would you think he would do it in a different time than Yom Kippur? All these words are extra. Seemingly Rashi did not explain anything.
Well, maybe he's talking about the Avodah of the
right.
He put on the right garments for the right reasons, not some emotional self-aggrandizement, but when you go into the Holy Holies, you're wearing specific garments. You're wearing the plain white garments. And maybe they're just trying to make sure that we don't make mistakes for the future.
I don't know. Listen, what is Rashi trying to do? Rashi is explaining why it seems apparently there are extra words in the Torah. Apparently there are extra words. It says the whole order of Yom Kippur, and then finally after it finishes the whole thing, sentence after sentence, paragraph after paragraph, what he has to do, it says, Vayas et kol asher tzivo Hashem. That Aaron did, doesn't say Aaron, but Aaron did everything God told him. Right? Why are those words there? So Rashi says, I'll tell you why. God is telling us a very important thing that we wouldn't know if he didn't put these words there. What? That when Yom Kippur rolled around, that Aaron did exactly in the order that he was told, and also he put the garments on for the right reason. Now, why would you think that Aaron would do this not at the right time, and he would do it not in the right order, and he would do it not for the right reason, that it's necessary for the Torah to come and tell us that Aaron did it? You understand? Why is the Torah coming and telling? If the Torah would come and say that Yisro did it, or that the Korach did what God told him, all right, that's a new thing. It shows that he did tshuva or he changed himself. But Aaron's whole thing was just to do what God told him. Why would you think differently? We'll see. The explanation is, I don't think we're going to finish this, rabbis. Huh?
Cut to the chase.
We got to the what?
Cut to the chase.
Yeah. All right, let's just go. Further? Or should we stop? What do you think? The explanation is like this. This entire parsha from the beginning, including the beginning of our sentence that we're talking about here, this pasuk, that Yase Aaron, that Aaron did everything he was told. It says that this should be for you an eternal law. This is said right next to Rosh Chodesh Nisan. When Moshe came down, when they built the tabernacle in the desert, Rosh Chodesh Nisan. One second. Oh, good. Like we said before, this whole thing was said on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, when the temple was built. Lifichach, therefore. Hayam Makom Lomer, huh? When the tabernacle was built, right. When his sons died also. Therefore, Hayam Makom Lomer, we could say, Shagam Ne'amar, it says, Vayas, Mofios Ba'oso Pasuk Vayasazot, Achas Bashana. That what it says that Aaron did everything he was told. This appears in the same sentence when it says that this is what you should do once a year. This happened afterwards, immediately after this commandment. You might think that Aaron would do it immediately, and he didn't wait on Yom Kippur, a half a year later. Why? You might think that Aaron said, if I'm commanded, I'll do it right now. It's commanded to me right now. And especially after it says, Vayidaber ish ki yeh al techilas chomesh bamidbar ne'amar ba'oto tkufa ad until be'echad b'chodesheni zman rav livnei Yom Kippurim. You might think that everything that was said here was said in the space of 1 month, from Nisan until Iyar, the second month. A long time before Rosh Yom Kippur. It can't be that Aaron would have done this actually indeed. But you could say that Vayas, it means that Aaron accepted on himself to do this, and the acceptance is as though he's done it. Like it says in Parshas Bo, that when God told Moshe to tell the Jewish people to make the Pesach offering, so it says, Vayilchu vayasu, that the Jewish people went and they made the Pesach offering, even though that it was 4 days beforehand. The Jews all took a sheep into their house, and they made the Pesach offering, but they didn't make it. They made it 4 days later. Why does it say? Because they accepted on themselves to do it. As soon as they heard the commandment. Therefore, Rashi says, when Yom Kippur came, and this he wants to tell us, that the word Vayas doesn't mean that they did it, they resolved to do it. It was as though they did it. But rather, that they actually did it. Right? Not like in Parshat Bo. When did they actually do it? When Yom Kippur came around. And here the word Vayas does not mean like it means in Parshas Bo that they did it. It means they accepted on themselves to do it. That Aaron accepted on himself to do it. Rashi to explain the Merot shelefi zeh yotze shebaoto pasuk medubar al shnei peraki zaman shonim. The same sentence that Moshe says that Moshe gave over this and Aaron did it. The beginning of the sentence says that Moshe gave it over. That's on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and Aaron did it. Is talking about 6 months later. In Parshas Bo, the Torah tells us Vayas, that the Jewish people did it, means they didn't actually do it. They just accepted on themselves to do it. Therefore, the Torah treats it as though they did it, and therefore the Torah says that the Jewish people made the Pesach offering on the 10th day of Nisan, even though they didn't. They just received the commandment to do it on 10th. But why does it say that they did it? Because they received on themselves to do it. So say the same thing over here. It says no. After the Torah tells us that in Parshas Bo that the word vayas, he did, could mean that he just accepted on himself. Kavar, move on, we can understand that also Aaron, since he accepted on himself, it's as though he did it. If so, why would the Torah come and tell us another time over here that the word vayas means something different? It means as though he did it, just like it means over Bo. Therefore, Rashi says, when actually Yom Kippur came, then the word vayas means simply. In other words, the Torah already told us in Parshat Bo, when God commanded the Jewish people to make this Pesach offering, he commanded them 4 days before they actually made it. The Torah tells us that the Jews actually made it, even though they didn't, because it's as though they made it. So we already know that the word vayas can be used to express that a person accepts on himself and it's as though he made it. So he doesn't have to do it again. Here the word vayas means simply. When can that be? Only on Yom Kippur, half the year later. But a pupil can ask, Gam lefi hapirush hamashmut shel vayas is simply, we have to understand, what's so new that Aaron did when God told him to do? God said, do this on Yom Kippur, and Aaron did it on Yom Kippur. Why does Rashi have to tell us that? It says, Mishum kach, Rashi says, Asa kaseder hazeh. He did in his proper order. According to this, it means like this. The pasuk, and mekuven lechadesh, shtei davarim. Number one, Asa kaseder hazeh, and to get his praise that he didn't change his intention when he put on the garments. What's so great about doing it in the proper order? Listen. And when it says that Aaron went, okay, with me, Herschel. When it says that Aaron went in the Oel Moed, Aaron went into the Holy of Holies, Rashi says, it says this is not the place for this pasuk. V'yavo Aaron al Oel Moed. It says this is not in the proper order of things. Call a parsha kula nemro al seder chutz mi biazu. There's one sentence in this whole order that's not in the proper order. It says that Aaron went into the Holy of Holies. He went. He couldn't have gone into the Holy of Holies. There was no temple built yet. They hadn't built it yet. How could he go in? So this sentence is mentioned out of turn. It's mentioned out of turn. One minute, no, I have something wrong over here. Give me a sentence over a second over here. No, I'm sorry. There certainly was a temple in that time. There was a holy temple. I'm sorry. There was no holy temple when Moshe came down on Mount Sinai. There wasn't, right. Moshe came down on Mount Sinai, that was and first Yom Kippur. Then he didn't. On Rosh Chodesh Nisan, that's when there was a holy temple. Moshe gave over Aaron, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, he gave him the whole order of what he's supposed to do, including Yom Kippur. One of the sentences that says what he's supposed to do on Yom Kippur, it says that Aaron went into the Holy of Holies. Says the pasuk, Rashi says this sentence that he says that he went to the Holy of Holies, this is not supposed to be here. This is supposed to be somewhere else. This is supposed to be somewhere else. This sentence is not mentioned in the proper order that it appears. It is supposed to be a command that he should go in, and not that he went in.
Did he go in during the inauguration of the temple, which was not yet?
The Holy of Holies, the first people that went in was not of an Abu, right, and they went in properly. Okay, therefore, et zod mechadesh da Torah kan, it says vayas kasher tzivo. Aaron did in the order that things were said. Aaron did according to this order that Rashi explained beforehand, even though that Moshe Rabbeinu gave him the commandments in an order that was different. In the order that it appears, what Aaron said, it seems that he was supposed to go into the Holy of Holies right then on that day, on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And he didn't do it. It was according to the order that Rashi explained earlier. Ach bakach in Rashi yochal l'sayim, he can't end his explanation. Ki zeu l'chiora heipech mipeshuta shel mikra. According to the simple order of the sentences, Aaron was supposed to have gone in on that day. Therefore, Rashi says, Osa kasei razeh, Aaron did not do according to the order that God told Moshe. If so, how can it be that he did what Moshe commanded? Therefore, Rashi says like this. Aaron did a very praiseworthy thing. When the Torah says, Vayas, the Chidush is, the Osa Kasei Razeh. Don't think Vayas means that he actually did it on that day. No, he did in this proper order. When the proper time came, Aaron did everything in the proper order. As a bitoy kasher tziva, it means that he wanted to stress the kasher. It doesn't mean kasher at tziva, not the part of kasher, but the part of tziva. He did what was actually commanded him to do. Bakach mitkavenet Torah lahadgish she'Aaron oseh zot rak mipnei shekach tzivu Hashem kemakayim gezerut hamelech. That Aaron did not do according to the order that was given over to him. He did it according to the order that he was commanded to Hashem to do. It was Rashi. According to this, what's written in the Torah is not the order that Moshe told him to do it. Moshe told him to do it, and Rashi explains what the order is earlier. And then Rashi says, and Aaron did according to this order that I explained to you just now that Moshe told him, not according to the order that appears in the Torah. Because there's one sentence that's not in the proper order. It says that Aaron went into the Holy of Holies and he didn't go. So that's the main thing that he did according. So it says, okay, on the other hand, so what does it mean then that Aaron didn't put on the garments for his glory, but he did it because Hashem wanted? He says, well, that's pretty hard to understand. Why? Because the commandment, it says clearly that the garments of the Kohen Gadol were lekavod tiferes. The garments of the Kohen Gadol were supposed to be for honor and for glory, unlike any other commandment of the Torah. And since we say that Aaron did everything that God told him to, so therefore you might think that if he did everything God told him to, and the garments of the Kohen Gadol, it says were there lekavod tiferes, the garments of the Kohen Gadol, says clearly in the Torah that they were there for honor and for glory. So he says, okay, the main meaning of this vayas is that Aaron did in the proper order. He didn't do in the order that the sentences appear in the Torah, but he did according to the order that Moshe explained them. Because like we said before, there's one sentence that's not in the proper order. So he ignored that. So that's the main thing, that he did in a proper order. But when it says kasher ba, then that's the first part. When it says kasher tzivo Hashem, this comes to show that he did the commandment of the king. In other words, he did not put him on for the reasons that it said in the Torah, for glory and for this, but he put him on because God told him to put him on. That's the reason. If there's going to be glory, that's Hashem's business. It's not his business. Aaron didn't care about that. So let's explain like this. Kasher Rashi, when Rashi explains the praise of Aaron, that he didn't put on these garments for glory or for beauty, he says he didn't put them on for glory. It doesn't say wherever it says, Lo ne'amar b'Torah's kohanim shelo aya lavesh begadim. It doesn't say he didn't put any garments on. In other words, his intentions on putting these particular garments, which are mentioned here, he did not put them on for his own greatness. Other times he could have put them on for glory and for beauty. right? For Guli, but not in this time. But Kachdi, and Rashi wants to tell us like this: when he put on these 8 garments, right? The garments that he puts on for Yom Kippur, that he put on. I'm sorry. He put on these garments the whole year. He had the Choshen Mishpat. He had the garments. That was the garments of the Kohen Gadol. When he put them on the whole year, this includes also the garments of gold. He did not put them on for any of his own glory. That's not such a new thing. Why? Because this is not the praise of Aaron. But what is the praise of Aaron? That these garments of Yom Kippur, he didn't put on for his own glory. Why? The garments of gold are more important than the garments of white garments. Garments of gold he put on the whole year. The only time he would put on white garments, simple white garments, was on Yom Kippur. And that when it said that you'd have to put on the garments of the Kohen Gadol for glory, l'kavod l'tiforis, it talks about, first of all, the golden garments before the garments of, what is it, of linen. Why does the Torah say that he didn't put them on for his glory? This is talking about the white garments Aaron didn't put on for his own glory. Why would it say that, why would you think that glory would be in putting on white garments? And even more, why doesn't the Kohen Gadol go into the Holy of Holies in his golden garments? Why does he have to put white garments on only on Yom Kippur? Why? Yom Kippur is a day that, a glorious day. That's the big day for the Kohen Gadol. He should put on the golden garments. Right? That's the big thing, the golden garments. That's his day. He should wear these golden garments. What is the on Davka on that day? He takes them off. Right? When he goes into the Holy of Holies. Says the Rebbe, I'll explain the whole thing to you. Listen to this. In regarding the golden garments, there is machshava sha'aron yilbashim l'gedlo shalo. That what it says that the garments are put for glory and for honor. It means for the glory and the honor of Hashem. There was no thought that Aaron would put on these golden garments the whole year to brag. Ki otom abagadim yochol lilbosh achar kach hu atzmo biyosav b'madregas acheres. I'm sorry. The kavod lisavoris. Ki otom abagadim yochol lilbosh achar kach v'hu batzmo b'darga acheres. Oh, a Kohen Gadol shel Acharei. The Kohen Gadol can put these garments on for the rest of the year, even when he's not serving in Yom Kippur. Or the Kohen after him can put on the same garments. So there's no reason for him to take special pride in these garments. But, therefore, even a lower Kohen Gadol, a Kohen Gadol that wasn't so high as this Kohen Gadol, a level, nevertheless, he puts on the same garments. So there's no reason that these garments show that you're really great. It could be another person is much lower than you, right? It's like Trump saying, wow, I'm the president of the United States. No big deal. Obama was also the president of the United States. Being president of the United States is no big accomplishment, right? It's the same thing. Putting on the garments of the Kohen Gadol is no big deal. Sometimes there's lower levels of Kohen Gadol that also. Lochi, and therefore it's clear that this is not the greatness of Aaron to put on these golden garments. Also the same thing as the white garments that he puts on. But the garments, the white garments that he puts on Yom Kippur, the Kohen Gadol also can wear the white garments other times of the year. But the white garments that he puts on to serve Yom Kippur, this is like what Rashi says, Lo yishtamesh ba'oto arba v'gadim l'yom kippur achar. When he put on these garments, he could never put them on again. The white garments that were used for Yom Kippur could never be used again. Not the case the other garments. They could be put on by other Kohanim and lower Kohanim. Therefore, a Kohen can think, if with these garments, they are, first of all, they're connected to being a Kohen Gadol. Not everybody can be a Kohen Gadol, okay? And they're connected to the service of Yom Kippur. If so, if it's just connected to being a Kohen Gadol, there's a lot of Kohen Gadols. If it's connected just to Yom Kippur, so there's going to be more Yom Kippurs. Why is it that no other Kohen can put them on? Only I can put these garments on. These garments, the white garments, should be like the golden garments, right? The golden garments were used by the Kohen the whole year. They were used also on Yom Kippur. The golden garments were used by every Kohen Gadol. So there should be the same thing with the white garments.
But didn't each Kohen Gadol have their own garments made for them?
No, not necessarily. No. Maybe they had changed the measures or something. But the garments that a Kohen Gadol used one year, you think exactly the opposite. A Kohen Gadol would use the garments. You think, I wanted my son to use these when he goes in. He should use the same garments as I went in. These are the garments that have been worn by the high priest year after year. They don't do it. The garments that were worn by one priest can never be worn again. Therefore,
these garments, could Aaron wear them again?
No.
Just one time.
Right. Therefore, he could think, maybe these garments are for the greatness of Aaron, that particular Kohen. These garments, it's like they have in baseball, right? They retire that number, right? Mickey Mantle's this, he wore this shirt. Oh, you get the shirt that he wore. This thing is worth $1 million, right? You find the shirt that who knows whatever what was his name? Babe Ruth wore, right? When he played in this game, the thing is worth $20 million. So the Kohen Gadol can think the same thing. This is the one that I wore. No one else is going to wear this. So therefore, this is a big deal. This is a special shirt. Right? These are special garments. Because no one else can put them on. Therefore, because a person needs every year new garments, but it changes every year, and every year he can't use the same garment. He has to use another one. Therefore, every year he needs other garments for Yom Kippur. Therefore, the Torah tells us that this is the praise of Aaron. Also the white garments, that he has to change them every year, and he can never ever wear them again. Nevertheless, he did not put them on for his own greatness. These are special garments for only me. Only I'm going to wear them. No one else can wear them. Never another Yom Kippur. So this is special for me. So you think that Aaron might think that they're special. Yes.
Maybe something happened to the garments when he was inside the...
No, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that.
For that reason, he wouldn't wear them again? Certainly
no, it's just a law. You're not allowed to put them on again. That's all.
So it's just a chok.
Yeah. Like no one can marry no one can ride on the king's horse. A king has a horse, you can't ride on it. A Kohen Gadol has a garment. He himself can't even put this garment on again. So therefore, you might think that he'll put it on. He'll start to think, wow, these are this is a special thing, huh? Only I put it on. 100 years later, we're going to say, this is the garment that Yochanan and Kohen Gadol. Aaron, Aaron, Moshe's brother, the first Kohen ever, he wore this garment. Right, Schwitz, right. Lefiza, according to all this, we have to say, we can understand why is it that Rashi does not explain Vayas means only that he didn't put him on his greatness. That he didn't put him on for his greatness. This is especially on the second Yom Kippur when he saw that he put on new garments. The first Yom Kippur when he put them on, so he didn't know he wasn't going to be able to wear them again, right? Or even if he did know, it was no big deal, right? He wore these garments. Who knows? Maybe next year it'll be different. Second Yom Kippur, you can't put these garments on again. You have to put new garments on. This is, it means that every single year these are going to be special for me. But the simple meaning, Vayas, means that when Yom Kippur came, as soon as Yom Kippur came, the first Yom Kippur came, that automatically he did not put these garments on for his own greatness. Now, why would you think he would think it was so great? I mean, he didn't really know that, it didn't have this feeling that these garments are never going to be worn by anybody ever again, right? He'll only really know that and feel it when the second Yom Kippur comes around, and he can't put on the first garments because that once they're used 1 year, and they're used by you, no one else can use them ever for eternity. So then he'll start to think, it's going to be the same thing with the second garment. But this pasuk is talking about the first time he went in. This is talking about the first year he went in. The first year he went in, he didn't have so much of a reason to feel important when he put on these garments, that the garments were Special for him. Therefore, Rashi says that the main meaning is that he did according to the order, not the order that is written in the Torah, but the order that Moshe gave him. Therefore, it says, Kasher Tzivu Hashem is to tell the praise of Aaron, that he, but only just the second thing says the praise of Aaron, that he did not put the garments on for his own glory. So if so, we have two things. The Torah gives us an order. Aaron did not go according to that order, but rather he went according to the order that Moshe told him. That's why it says, Vayas Aaron Kasher Tzivu Hashem. And there's also a second meaning, is that he put on the white garments and he didn't put it on for his own glory, even though it was only the first Yom Kippur, and in the first Yom Kippur, there wasn't so much of a reason for him to feel that these white garments were unique and unusual and they'll never be used again. Without this explanation, those words in the Torah seem to be totally extra. Thank you very much. God bless you. And I'll tell you a joke before.